So somebody asked me recently why I haven't done or why I didn't do any content for Rings of Power. There was a war. I just did not feel like fighting. Um I tend to try and stay out of like these super toxic stances that people take online in regards to certain things. And Rings of Power, hilariously enough, was one of them. I thought the show was decent. It's a solid B. I'd say it's a solid B minus. It has fantastic performances, but anything that would have been conceived as being positive would have been essentially inviting a level of just stupid toxicity that I didn't feel like dealing with on a daily basis anyway. Could I have made videos about how fantastic performances are or the scenes were between Celebrimbor and Sauron? Absolutely. Those scenes are fantastic. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you don't have to watch Rings of Power. Just go on YouTube, look up Sauron and Celebrimbor, sit down, and you'll be entertained by how fantastic the acting is. Completely friggin' S tier for around 15 or 20 minutes. Best acting that Lord of the Rings has ever seen outside of the original movies. Absolutely fucking great. The ending, in my opinion, that final battle between both Sauron and Galadriel, also friggin' great. There are two scenes that no, there are three scenes. Two of them are from the Celebrimbor Sauron stuff, and then one is from the last fight with Galadriel. Um, the Celebrimbor one, the two that stand out are when Celebrimbor realizes that he's in a time loop, essentially. That Sauron has basically projected this perfect world around him that has kept him trapped and transfixed and basically slaving away working on the rings this entire time while the world around him deteriorates. It's when he first realizes the trick with the rat. He points out to Sauron, he says something along the lines of, no emissary of the Valar would ever do something like this. No emissary of the Valar would basically curse me like this. And the look on Sauron's face is pure cinema because it's the subtle twitches of the side of his mouth that you could tell the character himself is irritated by that statement. Because yes, no emissary to Valar would do something like this. Because he is no emissary to Valar, no matter how much he believes that he's on their same level or should be on their same level. He is the embodiment of pure evil. And it's the subtle slipping of the mask that allows the more darker side of Sauron. Because before, he's popping up, he's like, "Oh, Nelson the Valar, I'm here seriously. I'm Anatar." Da, 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 da. And the entire time, he sounds like a friend. The second that's pointed out, the mask cracks just a little bit, and you see the annoyance and exasperation start to show up on his face. The tone that he uses becomes a lot more lower, a lot more menacing, a lot more threatening. The second scene would be the one between Celebrimbor and Sauron when the orcs have breached and they've basically hit him with the arrows and he's dying basically, and he tells him, he's like, um I'll never give you the rings. I have sent them far away from you, far away where you'll never be able to get your hands on them at any point in time in this life. And Sauron basically tells him, like, oh, there are ways for me to keep you alive and end up getting the truth from you. Instantaneously, my mind flashed to Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor because we see the spirit of Celebrimbor in Mordor, basically, after he'd been tortured for like hundreds of years and still didn't give up information. And then he was bound to the thing before Talon found him. But it's the fact that there's so many really, really great things in that discussion between the both of them, such as when Celebrimbor tells him that, oh, when I die, my soul will be taken towards the light and a land of like eternal rest where you can never follow. Strike number one. He'll never be able to have that level of peace at any point in time in his life. Telling him that by putting pieces of himself in each and every one of the rings themselves will end up dooming him, and he will be less than a shade. Basically, what he's going to end up being at the end of the books once the One Ring is essentially destroyed, crowning him as the Lord of the Rings, because the rings are both the thing that will usher in his total victory, but also the things that open him up to his absolute and colossal fucking defeat. So many good scenes are done between the two of them. But the same way I hype that up, I can instantly put down everything. I don't give a damn about the elf and the human woman or his journey, the archer guy. Could hardly care less. I was never involved in his story. The side quest that what is his name? Elrond. The side quest that Elrond basically goes on. The side quest in season 1, didn't care about it. The side quest for the first third of season 2, didn't care about it. Really got interesting towards the end of season 2 when he started to feel and act a lot more like the Elrond that we're essentially familiar with from the books and the movies. The whole Numenor side quest thing, we already know those motherfuckers are doomed, so I wasn't even magical superhumans. Like, everyone here is Captain America? Yes. Do they ever feel like Captain America? No. That's basically what the Numenorians are. Everyone's Captain America. Everyone lives for thousands of years because they have elven ancestry. Everyone's super strong, everyone's super fast, everyone's super buff, everyone's super tall. Do I ever feel at any point in time that they fit that description? Not really. Not in any way, shape, or form. Don't really care for it. It's whatever. I can skip over that as well. But for the small golden nuggets that we received, if I was to even talk about them, the level of people that would just come in and start squawking, didn't feel like dealing with it. Didn't feel like dealing with it at all. So I didn't talk about it. I left it alone. Even the final battle between Sauron and Galadriel, there's a lot of people that are going to hate it because of how the characters were set up in season 1. Season 1 gave them such a strong young adult novel vibe that it kind of rubbed a lot of people wrong, which is completely understandable. You created a romance between two characters that, for the most part, there was beef, but there was never anything that you could consider romantic. I will say that during that last fight, when she gains the upper hand on him, being the trickster that he was, him face changing back to Halbrand, and then her pausing and almost she looking at him as though, you know, he's a former friend, someone that she probably actually truly loved, I thought was also a fantastic scene. But why would I talk about it? Why would I talk about it when it's going to be downvoted to hell, when they're going to be like 9,000 people popping in the comment sections that I'm going to be spending the vast majority of my time answering and responding to comments for like the first 3 days, pulling my hair out because everybody's running on the exact same fucking brain cell? No, thank you. No, thank you in any way, shape, or form. So I left that shit alone. I left that shit alone and I dodged it like the Matrix. Don't even ask me about Wheel of Time. I haven't even started that series, like, at all. Have I watched it? No. I haven't watched Wheel of Time. Not in the slightest. Not in any way, shape, or form. But hey, if you liked it, great. But I'm sorry to say, every single time it comes out, you're never going to be able to talk about it, because anytime you do, you're going to be drowned out by like the most brain dead responses from people who don't watch the show, who consume the show through 10-15 second TikTok or YouTube short bites that literally take like the worst scenes from the entire show and then play them on the loop online for like 1 million fucking views.